Okay, hello everybody. Thank you for joining us this evening. On behalf of IMEA, the State Department of Education, and District 3, I would like to welcome you to today's virtual PD opportunity. Today, this session will cover how Flipgrid can be used in the music classroom. First, we will hear from Josh Barrow, Band and Choir Director from Star Middle School, and then Kylie Kohl from Hunter Elementary, both from the West Ada School District. They will be sharing and discussing with you how to use Flipgrid in the classroom, including setup, student instructions, device recommendations, and uses for all music classrooms, elementary, choral, and instrumental. Today's presentation will be recorded and can be viewed later on the IMEA YouTube channel, where you will be able to access all of these virtual PD opportunities. We will be taking the last 10 to 15 minutes to answer questions, so feel free to put them in the chat or jot it down to ask at that time. I would like to thank Megan Olswinger and the leadership from District 3, IMEA, and the State Department of Ed for providing these opportunities. Please remember that we are trying to continue these presentations throughout the fall and are still looking for volunteers to present on their expertise. I will put my email in the chat, and please reach out if you have something to share. Tune in next Wednesday, September 9th at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time for Percussionology, Tips for Percussion with Rob Solons, and following week, Thursday, September 17th, with Kathy Stefani for the Arts and Social Emotional Learning, again at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And with that, I would like to turn the time over and to thank for their time and effort to Joshua Barrow and Kylie Kohl. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rebecca. All right, so I'm going to share my screen. We have a little PowerPoint presentation. This will be made available after our presentation tonight. And so hopefully you can get it in your hands and ready to go for when you are preparing for school. So quick introduction, again, I'm Josh Barrow. I'm the Star Middle School Band Director, Band and Choir. This is my 5th year teaching, and this is my 3rd year at Star. And then Kylie.
And sorry. And I'm Kylie Kohl. I teach at Hunter Elementary School. I teach general music to K through 5 and honor choir for 5th grade. And this is my 2nd year teaching.
So quick overview of what we're going to be talking about tonight. I'm going to kind of walk us through getting set up. So if you haven't set up your Flipgrid yet, or if you'd like to try it, I'm going to allow time for you guys to get it set up. We'll talk about creating a group, which is essentially a class. We'll talk about student login, because one of the biggest things that I always had trouble with is having students figure out how to log in. And so I've made a couple tutorials on that that I can make available for later. We'll talk about the features for creating topics, which are assignments. And then there's a lot of other features on the menu, which I'm not as comfortable with. So Kylie will be talking about that. And then integration with Microsoft Teams, for those of you that use that, recommended tech, and then how we'll be using them in the classroom, which is kind of a couple ideas that we have. And then at the end, we'll try it all as a student. So if you want to actually download the app on your phone, on your tablet, or maybe go on the Flipgrid website to start getting it set up, you can follow along with us. So creating your Educator account. So you're going to go to flipgrid.com. So I'm just going to kind of switch over to that. So flipgrid.com, and then you click on Educator Sign Up. And whichever email system that your district uses, mine uses Microsoft, so I'll be clicking Sign Up with Microsoft, and it's pretty quick. All you have to do is just log into your email, and it syncs just like pretty much every other device out there. And so since I already have an account, this is what I see. And so when you get into Flipgrid, you won't see any groups like this. So you'll have to create groups, which, like I said earlier, are like classes. All right, so if you look right here, I've been kind of creating groups for this past week for each class that I teach. The bottom two are from last year. When you're creating a group, you click create group, you want to make sure that it's private unless you want to try to make it public for other people, but I prefer private. And so you just kind of enter your group name, test Flipgrid, and then the join code will be pretty important. So this actually automatically populates already. And so it's usually your last name and then 4 digits. And so this is a random code that I got. I can change it to whatever I want. So if I wanted test Flipgrid 2020, oh, that's not available. I add a 1 to it. You can use that, and that's how students will be joining. So to add students, I prefer at the older ages to use student emails. And I'm not sure what Kylie might prefer for the younger students, but I know the older students are used to using their emails, so we'll use student emails for this one. And then this part's pretty important. So if you put, at westada.org, that allows anyone in West Ada to access your Flipgrid if they have the join code. And so I recommend maybe putting specific emails. So for me, I would want to put borrow.joshua@westada.org and get rid of that. And my email would be right there. And whichever emails I put in that spot, they are the only ones that can access my Flipgrid. And so click next. And then at this point, if you've already made groups, and so if you have like a welcome topic recording video that you've already recorded, this is where you can select that topic, and you don't have to recreate topics as you go. You can kind of copy them from group to group. So for now, I'm going to skip, and then it says share the group. So I'm going to go to the group. I'm going to go into how we can edit the group. And so this discussion area is the main part of the platform. So you can edit from here, or if you want to click on the group, you can click on the group. But I like to be in this view so that I can kind of see which groups I'm working with. When you click edit, you're going to want to click that pencil button. And then this whole screen pops up. So you can change the image that the kids see. And you can upload an image that you want. You can edit the join code, change the access control, make it active or hidden. If you make it hidden, the kids won't be able to see it. And sometimes that's a good thing if you're trying to kind of edit things. But I mostly keep it active. So that is editing your group. So the next part that I'm going to talk about is student emails versus usernames. So like I mentioned earlier, I recommend using emails for the older groups just because they're used to using their emails, and especially the high school kids, they need to learn how to use their emails, especially as they get older. When I taught elementary, I didn't use Flipgrid, but I used Seesaw, and I always had some kind of easy way for them to access it. So this is a pretty easy way to access for the younger kids if you can print it off for them. All they have to do is use their device and scan this QR code. And that's actually how I did it for some classes last year. I decided to just print it all out, add each username, print it all out, and then hand it to the kids. And all they had to do whenever I told them there was like some kind of assignment, they'd go take their phone, scan it on their phone, and record from their phone. And it was easy. So that's student emails versus usernames. And then next part will be Kylie. She's going to talk about topics.
Yes, thank you. Sorry, that took me a moment. So just for the record, I thought I'd let you know, I also use the student emails, but I do leave it open for all West data just because I have, well, last year I had 700, this year I have about 500 students, and I didn't want to type them all in. But anyway, so for creating topics, there's actually 2 ways to do it, and I'm going to show you both of them. The first way that I'll show you here is when you're in this discussions tab, if you go over here into the topics section, there's actually, let me get that out of the way. There's actually a little button here that says add a topic. So you can either click there, or if you would like to just be in your specific group, use my practice one here. From the group, you can also add a topic. Again, you just scroll down and it looks exactly the same. You can see I have a couple of them down here already. When you're creating that topic, there are a whole lot of options for you. So very first thing is obviously a title. I'm just gonna use testing. You can add a prompt if you'd like to. I do for some of them, and others I don't. For my kindergarten kids, I generally don't type it out because I don't expect them to read all of it. I will actually record a response instead, and I'll show you how to do that. This I've found is very, very helpful. If you control the recording time, they cannot send you a 10-minute video. So I usually limit them to 30 seconds to a minute, depending on what it is. When I did recorders, I think I told them 2 minutes at max. And then you can do closed captions if you need that for some of your students. I think this is the most important part about this entire thing is the video moderation. You can filter out submissions if you need to. If I turn this off, then it'll when a student makes a response, it will automatically be live on my Flipgrid, and I might not necessarily want that. So I always turn video moderation on. So it has to go through me first. Down here, this is one of those places that you can add the video. Like I was saying, you can record one right here. You can upload one if you'd like. If you really wanted to put a YouTube, you could do that as well, or a Vimeo. I actually use this section as an engagement tool because kids love GIFs, right? So let's see, like last year I had kids playing It's Raining, It's Pouring, so I looked up snoring and put a silly little snoring person on my topic, and they thought it was hilarious and automatically love to use. Let's see, down here there's just access control of who can actually get who can get into it, and how Josh was talking about earlier with the student email versus the student usernames. Again, I just have mine set to @wastedata.org. It looks like my connection might be unstable, so if you lose me, let me know. And then you can put a password as well. I never have, especially for the younger kiddos. Let's see. And then down here, I actually prefer to use that more options video or button that I just clicked too fast, because then you can add a link with a title. So if you have a random link that doesn't tell the kids what it is, you can put it here, but still give them a title for it. And you can add multiple attachments there as well, from OneNote, Google Docs, YouTube. The sky's kind of the limit on that. For right here, this topic status part, you can choose if the students see it, just like you can choose if they can see the channel at that time, or the whole group at that time. You can have it active, frozen, or hidden. Active, obviously, anybody can get into it as long as they're on that email list. They can get into it and they can still record responses. If it's frozen, they can see past responses, but they can't add new ones. And then hidden will just completely take that away. They won't be able to see it anymore. One thing that I really like right now, especially, is the option that you can set a date. So if I wanted it to not start until next week, I could say I want it from the 8th to the 11th. Sorry about that, that was fast. And then it's just right there. I don't have to worry about it again because it will automatically freeze on the 11th. It doesn't hide, but it does freeze. Okay. And then just some other features. You can see, you can tell it how often you want to be notified if there was a response. I generally do daily. When I did every new video, it was a lot, especially in the middle of class, because your email chimes go off in the background and it's obnoxious. You also have the option to tell it, or to not let the kids download their videos when they're done. I have it off for right now. I might give them that option later, but for now it's off. And then if they want to be able to be notified, the students have that option. I took it away, but if you would like to let them do that, that's up to you. This kind of just controls what these students are able to do. So can they send you a video? Can they send you a selfie? Can they send you only selfies or none of those? I'm not sure what the none of those would look like, but you could play with it. You can also decide if the kids can edit their videos. I have it off right now just for simplicity. Later I'll turn it back on when I feel like maybe they're ready to play with it a little more. I do not let my students comment on their peers' videos. I just don't want to open that can of worms at all. You can give them the option to attach a link. Again, I'm just trying to make it simple for them. They can see how many people have viewed it. They can like it. I don't let them add sticky notes right now. And then you can also create feedback, or you can use the basic feedback of how did you feel about their ideas? How did you feel about their performance? You can, for this custom feedback, you can add criteria, and it's kind of like you're making a rubric. So if you would like to put very specific grade points in there, it's very easy to do. So, and then when you're done, you can just press create topic. For now, and you can always save those default settings, For now, I'm going to press cancel, just so I don't have to erase it later. So, let's see, where am I at? The other features on here, I'm just going to cover these really quick. It's just the stuff across the top here. So, like Josh said, the discussion page is your main point. This is where I always function. I just kind of discovered these in the last week or two. So for discovery, it's kind of like Facebook. You can go and look and see what other people are doing. They have a topic of the day. I saw one earlier that was a joke of the day that, there it is, that I thought might be kind of interesting. There's a math thing in here, and it's just kind of fun things that you can look up. And you can search for things somewhere. I saw that somewhere. Yeah, down here you can search if you want to. And you can save them if you really liked a collection that you found, you can always save it. Right here, activity. This is kind of like your scoreboard. You have an overview of everything that it's covered over here as well. But this just gives you a quick little, look, I have 4 achievements, I've created 7 groups, I have 9 topics, things like that. And it also, it also shows you your recent activity. So you can see I have the exact same example in here several times because I have it open in multiple groups. And then for the achievements, that's just those trophies, prizes, things like that. Kids might find it really fun. I don't use it. And recent activity as well. For the mixtapes, this is an area where you can kind of combine videos really easily. So if you wanted to make a timeline of this is where you started, this is where you ended, you can do that really easily. And in shorts here, this is basically like creating a video in any of the other places in Flipgrid. You can record the video. The one, let's see if it'll let me do this. The one thing on here that there we go, that I really find is the only thing that's different is in this options button or place here, you can record your screen. I don't know if you've used Screencastify or any of the other apps that allow you to record your screen like that, but this is a really easy way to do that. And it's right there in your Flipgrid, and it has a 10-minute limit on it. And there's also fun little effects. You can add emojis and stuff. Okay, and then the last thing I'm going to show you on this, on these other features are the grid pals. As you can see, I have mine hidden. I don't want people to find me. If you want it to be active, it asks you some questions in here, and I will go through all this. You can upload a photo if you'd like to. You can see I already filled it in once, so I've told them my grade levels, what I teach. Right in here, I'll put Meridian. And next, there we go. It actually connects it to your social media. This is actually why I'm not using it. I don't know about you, but I don't really want my Facebook or anything connected with my educational stuff. But if you have one that is specifically for, if you have a Flipgrid page group that's specifically for sharing, this would be a good way to share it with your peers or your friends. And then down here, you can actually look for other people. So I went ahead and did a little experiment earlier and found one of my colleagues, so I'm just going to do that for you. Right in here, I just chose the grades that I'm teaching, which is elementary. And then you can choose multiple subjects. I'm just going to go ahead and choose arts. And then I'm going to drag, let's see, I'll drag this over to Idaho. And I can see right here, there's one person in the Meridian Boise area that has shared theirs. Maybe, there we go. Clicking on the plus sign, maybe. There we go. And it's Greg Felton. So if you know him, you can tell him that you know where to find him. Okay. So the next thing I'm going to show you is how to integrate Flipgrid with your Teams page, your Microsoft Teams. If you use that, if you're in West Ada, you know you'll be using that a lot. So the very first thing you're going to want to do, you can do this with groups or topics. I personally have been using groups so that I can just post it on there and not worry about posting it again later. I'm going to go ahead and get my flip code right now so that I know that it's ready. And you can see you can just copy really easily. There's also a button here to share to Teams. This is the harder way to do it, so I'm not going to use it this way. I'm just going to go ahead and so I know it's ready. And Teams here. And whichever team it is that I want to add this to, I'm just going to click into it. Let's see.
Looks like she froze.
Okay, am I back?
Oh, yeah, you are.
Sorry, that was weird. Let me get back to that. Where did you lose me, Josh?
You were sharing a group to Flipgrid.
Okay, perfect.
It's not Flipgrid, to Microsoft Teams.
Perfect. Okay, so on the, again, plus sign, I don't know if that's where I was lost or not. Flipgrid is already here for me, or you can search for it if you'd like to. Once you've done that, you can go ahead and enter that flip code that I have already copied. Oh, excuse me, that's not a command. There we go. And it will tell you right there if you found it. You can choose to post that to your page or not, up to you. I'm not going to add it right now because I already have it here somewhere. Yeah, right there. Right now it says practice elementary class. You can actually change that really easily if you would like to. And then once it's embedded, let me minimize here. Once this is embedded, you can basically see it like a student. So this will be the student view. And you can see, again, I use those GIFs. The kids love it. And they can just easily pop on and make their responses. And I've made my response to give them an example. It looks, oh, and the very first time that your kids go onto Flipgrid from Teams, they will have to sign in again, same way they would do it on the web or from the regular app. And I believe this next part is Josh, so go ahead and take over.
All right, so we're going to talk real quick, really briefly about recommended tech. And it's kind of a touchy subject because not every family has the same technology that another family has. So here are my recommendations, really. And so let me pull up my screen real quick to go all the way to the back. Recommended tech. So it can be used on a computer, phone, or tablet for the student. The quality of the video and audio depends on the quality of whatever device they're using. So I think that any device that the district hands out to the families should do just fine. If you're expecting the sound quality to be great, some of those computers don't have the best microphone capabilities. So especially for secondary music with instrumental music, if you want to be able to hear like really good quality sounding recordings, you should probably look into getting an external microphone to hand to the kids and have them use. And there are some $30 USB microphones that you can get, but that's just kind of a thought of mine. And then if you're if you're using a computer, make sure that you're using one that has an ability to capture audio and video. So that's technology. And then elementary general music.
Yes, thank you. And actually, I forgot to mention this earlier. I have noticed that this app works much better for Edge, Chrome, and Firefox. So sorry, other Mac users like me, Safari doesn't always work. So the ideas that I am using this for is this week especially, I'm doing an introductory video for my students. And if you know the asynchronous versus synchronous, I'm using it because I won't be teaching live. I thought I would be, but I will not be next week, excuse me. You can do pitch matching check-ins, send them a video and tell them to record a response singing with the video. You can do honor choir auditions if you don't have the time or whatever it may be, that if that makes it easier. I actually use this for recorder karate, and it works out really well. I've used it in class. I haven't used it where they use it at home yet. So we'll see how that goes. And then any other instrument playing that you're doing, you can have them record a response to you in that way. And then you can feel free to look at my practice Flipgrid, a little more if you'd like. That is the link.
All right, so my secondary music ideas, one of the biggest things that I thought about was really think about what you would normally do in your class that you can't do. Because, a lot of times in secondary music or in any teaching capacity, you are trying to give feedback as much as you can so that the students can improve. And so I'm looking at Flipgrid as pretty much my go-to this year, having them record something as short as 15 to 20 seconds. That way I don't have to spend hours, grading each thing, but 15 to 20 seconds of just them playing an etude, and then I can give them really quick feedback, either typing in a comment, or I can even record something and maybe play it back to them on an instrument. So that way they get that feedback immediately. So one of the first things I am doing, just like Kylie, is going to be introducing, having each student introduce themselves in Flipgrid. So these are really basic questions. What instrument do you play? What's your favorite food? What do you hope to accomplish in band, choir, orchestra, in whichever class they're in? And then, having the students watch each video so that they learn about each student in their class. Exit tickets. So especially when you're teaching virtually, I think this will be the best way to check for understanding any concepts that we learn virtually. And so say I'm getting done with my 6th grade band online. I've had them kind of work on practicing like the first 5 notes, like B flat, C, D, E flat, F. And I could be like, okay, our exit ticket today is record the first 5 notes, play them in half notes with the metronome on set to 72. And I can type that all into the prompt and then even have an example for it. And I can, that's my way of checking daily who's understanding the new concepts and who's not understanding it. Playing and singing or counting assessments, that one is that's how I used Flipgrid in the past. I never did playing tests in class because I just tried to maximize the amount of time I had in class. So I used Flipgrid, and they would record whatever thing they were working on, and they would just submit it and I would grade it. So I'm going to show you how I used it for those assessments. Let me kind of log into Flipgrid here. And so whoops, wrong one. Oh, great. It's going to create a new account for me. So that's how you sign up. So you go through there, but that's not what I wanted. Log in. Awesome. That's not what I want. Okay, hold on. Switch browsers. Flipgrid. Okay, and that's also not the account I want, so I'm going to switch Microsoft login. I've created like 3 or 4 different Flipgrid accounts in the past 2 weeks, so it's kind of all over the place. All right, so I'm going to go to something I had last year. This was my 2nd period concert band. Let's see, end of semester 2. So what I had, for my kids for playing test, I just put the prompt there. We were playing a song called Chips and Salsa, and the tempo was at 160 beats. And so I would tell them which measure numbers to go to and play. So I'll show you my tuba player. And let me share the sound. So this is what it would sound like. Okay, so it's a nice quick recording. It's 12 seconds. I'm able to give them feedback, and so it can take a long time if you have kids playing things for a whole minute. So I would recommend having them record something that's closer to 15 to 30 seconds. That way you don't have to take so much time grading things, right? And you can be more nitpicky. So let's see, back to this. Some other ideas I had were pass-offs. So kind of like what Kylie had with recorded karate. There's karate systems for pretty much everything. So band karate, choir karate, orchestra karate. And so you can have them pass off whatever they need to pass off through Flipgrid. This one I really hope to do this year. I've been wanting to do this for the last 2 years, but I always seem to run out of time or just forget about it. But semester portfolios. So things that they record, you can put into a topic or into a group that you can title as semester portfolio, and you can keep track of, scales, etudes for specific techniques and things like that. And that way, if you're handing a kid over to the high school, like an 8th grader going into high school, you can actually, share that that group or that specific topic for with the high school director, and they'll know where they're at as students. So I think that's something I plan to do this year. And then the last thing is auditions for advanced ensembles. So that's pretty self-explanatory. All right, so this is the part where we get to try it as a group. So here's what I would like you to do. I want you to type into chat the email you would like to use for this demonstration, and I'll copy that email and put it into Flipgrid, and then you guys will get to see what Flipgrid looks like as a student. And so I'm sure some of you are like, oh my gosh, there's a lot of features, but actually, when in the student view, there's really not that much to see. There's a gigantic record button, and yeah, so go into chat and then type in the email, and then let's see what we can do from here. So, and make sure that you download it. You can download it on your phone. You can go to the web browser. If you do try it on the web browser, it won't, if you don't have a webcam, it won't work. So you do need to make sure you have a webcam. So, all right. I'll show you how to add these emails. Oh my gosh. Okay. Let's see. And okay, let's do it here. So many emails. Okay, so this is the group that we're going to use today. And so I'm going to edit the group, and I'm going to copy all these emails. And so I'll show you how I'm doing this. Pretty self-explanatory. I'm glad there's a lot of people that put their emails in. I was worried there would only be like 1 or 2 people. So, oops. Oh, I already put that in. Okay. Hopefully I didn't miss anybody. If I did miss you, please type in chat. All right, so I'm going to update that group, and the join code is D3 Flipgrid 9220. So go ahead and type that code in, and then I want you to make sure that you log in using the email that you normally use. So I'm actually going to record the topic media for this, so I have to remember which questions they are. Where do you teach? What do you teach? Nervous, excited. Yes, wow. Okay, maybe that won't work. All right, So I guess I won't be doing it. If you do end up not being able to do that, you can import your video. There's a question. So do I need to use a Gmail address? So it has to be either a Gmail or Microsoft. So Microsoft could be like, I think, .live or at Hotmail. At live or at hotmail.com. And so let me look back up. If you guys don't use, well, what is your email like, Dr. CK? So there's the code right there. D3 Flipgrid 9220.
Okay, I'm just sending you my Gmail. Make
Okay.
that easier.
All right, I will use that one then.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Okay, so what am I doing here? Okay. And you should be able to log in now. So again, go to the app and then type in that code. So once you're in there, you can see the prompt, kind of introduce yourself, who you are, where you teach, what you teach, what you're most nervous about, and what you're excited about for the school year. So we'll give you guys about 2 minutes on that, 2 to 3.
Josh, can you tell me the code again? I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I think I stopped sharing by accident. Is D3 Flipgrid 9220.
Okay, thanks.
Yep. Mm-hmm. All right, so I'm seeing some responses. So I'm looking at it from the student view right here. And so this is what your students will see. When they have more than one topic, they can click right there, but I can't click it because it's only one topic right now. So seeing a lot of familiar faces, which is awesome. And so I can easily go into one of these. And so I'll go into Kylie's.
Oh
Hi,
no.
Okay. And so she recorded something, and I can add a comment, and I can do a video comment if I wanted. And so, I can, it's kind of like having a discussion back and forth, but delayed. And so it's a cool feature. You can do a video comment, and then I can see all the other people. So I think I have text comments. There's a way to comment with text, right, Kylie?
Yes. However, if I remember right, it sends it to that student's email.
Oh, okay. So, this is what I actually. So I'm going to talk a little bit while you guys are doing that stuff about the video feature stuff. I'm only doing selfies for the kids. Because every kid loves taking selfies. Video comments, I go back and forth between that. It depends on the class that you're teaching. If the kids are mature enough to make sure that they're not bashing on kids, or they need to make sure that they're able to give constructive feedback. And so that's the only way I would allow comments. And, if I find something that's not appropriate, I will definitely have a discussion with that student and their parents. View count and likes, I actually disabled that stuff for my kids because I don't want them. I mean, if you look at this, it's kind of like social media. And, some of us know how social media can affect some of the kids sometimes if they don't get enough likes, if they don't get enough views. And so I like to disable that stuff, and yeah. So if there was a comment that is inappropriate, either type or video, what do? You can delete them, or let me do it from here. That specific, one that you find, you can hide it. And so I'm actually going to hide all of these, and I want you to check your refresh your page and see what it looks like now. So it shouldn't show any videos. And so once I feel comfortable putting it back, I can activate it. Yeah, so definitely proof. It is, letting the kids know that whatever they do online can really bite them back. So, letting the kids kind of be aware of how that can affect them. It's a good teaching tool. So, feel free to keep on looking through that, ask, or, leave comments, feedback. It looks like there was a comment left on Kylie's. And so I see her video, and then I see Bailey's video, which is the response. And just like earlier I said, you can hide or activate that comment, which is super nice. So, okay. And then one thing that we didn't quite touch on, when you use Flipgrid, it sends you a lot of emails, like a ton. I don't know what your experience has been, Kylie.
Yeah, actually, that was what I was talking about earlier. When you're making a topic, you can tell it only email me once a day about this, or once a week, or never.
Yeah, and you can even do it as a group. And so when you go to actions here in the group setting, when you're on the discussion page, go to actions, group notifications, and then you can set it to never. And I actually set all my groups to never. That way I don't get so many notifications. I will check my Flipgrid probably at the end of the day, I mean, last year I'd check it every single day at the end of the day, but this year I'll probably check it after every period, just to kind of double check if kids are turning things in. So this is my cat, by the way, Biddy. If you hide the videos, can the student who made the video still see their own? You can, when you hide it, it does not show it to them anymore.
Actually, when you did it just now, sorry, it
Oh.
still showed me mine when you
Oh.
hit. So I'm gonna go with
Okay.
yes. They
Okay.
can still see theirs.
Okay, I think that was different. My experience was different last year. I actually set my groups to moderated. And so last year I had to activate every video that came through, and kids would submit multiple ones because they didn't know if theirs was submitted or not. I think now they've changed it so that it says this group or topic is being moderated. You know, that way they don't have to send so many videos. But all right, so 8 responses. That's super cool. Let me see if I can get back to my presentation. All right, so this is the last part. This is a wrap up. Do you guys have any questions or comments?
So Josh Bailey had a question a while ago about students and their Google accounts, but that may have been answered after you went through the student view. I don't want to speak for Bailey, but Bailey, do you still have a question?
I was just wondering if the kids were going to have to go in and make an account beforehand, or if like my kids or email automatically sign them in.
Sorry, Bailey, you kind of cut out like halfway through that. What was the last part of that?
Oh, sorry. So I was asking if like a Wes Ada account will automatically create a Flipgrid account for the kids.
Yeah, and Brittany actually just commented on that. Yeah, so it'll automatically create it. It's, you know, the students signing in, all they need is the flip code, or if you're using Microsoft Teams, they can go to that and select sign in with Microsoft, and it'll automatically sign the kids in. So yeah, it'll be instantaneous, I guess.
Brendan, John wants to know how you got your headphones on your selfie.
There was a setting or an option at the end of it. I did it on my phone. Yeah, so I don't know if I can describe it, but that near the end of it, there was an option to add some emojis and other things, and it was just embedded within there.
Yeah, I think that is under effects, and it just shows you a whole bunch of those. Yeah, there's filters, there's emojis, there's all sorts of fun.
And like I said, it is like social media. So Snapchat, Instagram, the kids will love it, I think. So.
Are there any other questions?
Okay. Okay, I think that's great. So Kylie and Josh, I just want to thank you for giving us your expertise on Flipgrid. You did a fantastic job, and thank you again for your time and effort in this pandemic time when you are basically relearning how to teach music all over again. And to many of you out there that took the opportunity to learn tonight, we thank you. Again, these are going to be found tomorrow on the IMEA YouTube channel. I forgot to put my email in the chat, so I'm doing that right now. Please reach out to me with anybody you can think of that might want to do this for the future. We're trying to go all the way through December. Again, thank you so much for tuning in. Remember that next week is on percussion tips and tricks, and that will be Wednesday at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time as well. All right, thank you, everybody.
Yep, thank you guys.
Thank you.